Your brain isn't calculating true value. It's reacting to phantom signals, meticulously engineered to override your rational financial circuits. You're not buying a product. You're buying a psychological experience. This isn't about logic. It's about neurochemical triggers. Every limited-time offer activates an ancient fear of scarcity, a primal alarm bell overriding your conscious self. Today, we will dissect two powerful cognitive illusions that manipulate your perception of value and urgency, subtly guiding your wallet: the scarcity principle and the framing effect. These aren't just marketing tricks, they are fundamental operating systems of your mind, ready to be understood. Imagine for a moment an open field filled with wildflowers. You walk through them, appreciating their beauty, but you don't feel compelled to possess any specific one. Now, picture a single, rare orchid growing precariously on a distant cliff edge, known to bloom only once a decade. Which flower suddenly feels more valuable, more desirable? The orchid, of course. This innate drive to acquire what is scarce, what might soon be unavailable, is deeply embedded in our evolutionary history. Our ancestors who prioritized limited resources were more likely to survive, hardwiring a powerful response into our neural architecture. This phenomenon, known as the scarcity principle, dictates that the less available something is, the more valuable we perceive it to be. One of the foundational demonstrations of this was a study by Warkol, Lee, and Adewale in 1975. Participants were asked to rate the quality of cookies. In one condition, they were given jars containing 10 cookies. In another, jars contained only 2 cookies. The result was astonishing. Participants consistently rated the cookies from the jar with only 2 as significantly more desirable and of higher quality, even though the cookies were objectively identical. The mere perception of dwindling supply elevated their perceived value, triggering a subconscious desire that bypassed rational assessment. It's instinctual. Your brain, upon registering limited availability, immediately flags that item as something important, something you absolutely cannot afford to miss out on, transforming mere interest into an urgent, compelling need. The mechanism isn't about the item itself. It's about the psychological panic of potential loss. And once this ancient alarm system is triggered, your spending patterns become profoundly predictable. Now, let's observe how this primal algorithm takes command in the wild, bending your choices to its will. Consider the ubiquity of phrases like limited stock or only 3 left at this price in online retail. This isn't just inventory management, it's a direct assault on your rational processing. Before seeing such a message, you might calmly consider a new gadget for its features, its price, its actual utility. But the moment only 3 left appears, a switch flips. The internal dialogue shifts from, "Do I need this?" to, "I might miss out on this." Your cognitive resources are diverted from assessing value to strategizing acquisition, a desperate scramble against an imagined deadline. You perceive not the gadget, but the vanishing opportunity itself, which now feels far more precious. This sudden pressure, a manufactured urgency, often leads to impulse buys that, in a moment of calm reflection, you might never have considered. This impulsive cascade is further amplified by the second cognitive illusion, the framing effect. This principle reveals how the way information is presented, or framed, fundamentally alters our perception of its value and desirability, even when the underlying facts remain unchanged. It's not what you say, but how you say it. For instance, imagine a product described as 95% fat-free. Your brain instantly registers a healthy, positive image. Now, consider the exact same product described as contains 5% fat. Objectively, these statements convey identical information, yet your perception of the item's healthiness and appeal shifts dramatically. The negative frame, 5% fat, triggers an aversion, while 95% fat-free activates a positive association. Have you ever paused to truly question that initial gut feeling? A powerful illustration of this comes from a seminal study by Tversky and Kahneman in 1981, known as the Asian disease problem. Participants were presented with a hypothetical outbreak expected to kill 600 people and were asked to choose between 2 programs. In one condition, the choices were framed in terms of lives saved. Program A would save 200 people, and Program B had a 1/3 probability of saving 600 people and a 2/3 probability of saving no one. The vast majority chose Program A, preferring the certainty of saving 200 lives. However, in a different condition, the exact same programs were framed in terms of lives lost. Program C would result in 400 deaths, and Program D had a 1/3 probability of 0 deaths and a 2/3 probability of 600 deaths. Here, the majority chose Program D, favoring the risk when faced with certain loss. The fundamental outcomes were identical across conditions, yet the mere linguistic framing, saving lives versus losing lives, completely reversed people's preferences. It proves that our rational assessment of value and risk is not static. It is a highly malleable landscape, sculpted by the very words and perspectives used to describe it. These aren't just subtle nudges, they are profound alterations to the very fabric of your decision-making, exploiting how your brain processes positive versus negative outcomes. Your spending algorithm isn't merely observing prices, it's interpreting the narrative around those prices. Understanding these powerful forces isn't just academic, it's a practical toolkit for navigating your daily choices. Here are 3 specific ways you can apply this knowledge immediately. First, before making any significant purchase, consciously reframe the scarcity. If you see limited time offer, ask yourself, is this genuine scarcity of supply or a manufactured scarcity of opportunity? Force yourself to mentally remove the urgent deadline. Give yourself 24 hours to decide. If the perceived value diminishes without the pressure, it was likely an illusion. This method allows your rational prefrontal cortex to re-engage, overriding the primal fear of missing out. You'll often find the must-have item transforms into a maybe not so much. Second, apply the framing effect to your own financial planning and goal setting. Instead of framing your budget as losing access to money by saving, reframe it as gaining future freedom and opportunities. For example, instead of "I can't spend $300 on that," try "saving $300 now means I can achieve my goal of a secure future 4 weeks sooner." This isn't about blaming marketers. It's about understanding the deep-seated architecture of human perception. By consciously shifting the linguistic frame, you can transform perceived sacrifices into tangible gains, leveraging the bias in your favor. Third, extend this awareness beyond shopping. Recognize how scarcity and framing operate in information consumption and decision-making far beyond commerce. When you encounter news headlines, political arguments, or even personal advice, ask, how is this information being framed? What narrative is it constructing to elicit a specific emotional response in me? Is it presented as a catastrophic loss if you don't act, or a clear gain if you embrace a particular solution? Identifying these frames allows you to critically evaluate the content rather than passively accepting the presented reality. This disciplined approach strengthens your cognitive resilience against manipulation. The profound revelation awaiting you is this: you are not a perfectly rational agent moving through the world. You are a breathtakingly complex system of cognitive biases, an intricate symphony of automatic responses, exquisitely tuned to cues like scarcity and framing. This isn't a flaw in your design, it's the design, a product of millions of years of evolution. Recognizing this liberates you. It frees you from the self-blame that follows an impulse purchase, because you now understand the invisible strings that were pulled. You begin to see yourself not as a weak-willed consumer, but as an aware observer of your own mental mechanics. Moreover, this insight fundamentally alters how you view others. Their seemingly irrational choices become intelligible, products of the same cognitive algorithms that operate within you. Consider that last must-have item you purchased. What cues were truly at play? You gain a deep empathy, realizing that everyone operates under the influence of these powerful, often subconscious forces. This newfound understanding transforms your relationship with yourself and the entire human experience. The moment you decode these hidden algorithms, you reclaim agency over your choices, moving from reactive participant to conscious architect. Keep exploring the profound architecture of your mind with us. Next, we will dismantle the illusion of free will itself, exposing the neural circuits that dictate your choices before you even consciously make them.